Let it go, let it go, let it go. All right. Dude, I was way off key there. But anyhow, welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about something that I think every human has probably or will probably experience in their life, and that is the emotion of fear. So what's going on with fear? What's going on psychologically? Is there anything we could do about it? Right? And I think the first things first, fear is not your enemy, because I think, especially in the manifestation world, we get taught to believe that anytime we fear, anytime we're anxious, anytime we're angry, like we basically think of certain emotions on a spectrum, right? And we're only supposed to focus on the good ones, and we're not supposed to focus on the bad ones, and we're supposed to just get quick at letting go of the bad ones, okay? So here's where that's really faulty and unhelpful and actually creates more mental health issues. Your emotions aren't good or bad. There is no spectrum. There is no hierarchy like you might see in some areas of manifestation communities, right? Like, for example, Esther Hicks. There is no hierarchy of emotions. Your brain doesn't think that way. Okay, it only prioritizes emotions based upon your stories. And your stories are fueled with what? Words and emotions and memories. Those are your three major areas that you want to spend time building and architecting and deconstructing, right? And taking apart and understanding, because those are what manifest. When Neville says, for example, that you can only choose your states, okay, that's what he's saying. A state is what? A body of beliefs. But if you take that deeper into the world of psychology, the world that I'm in, and in the world of neuroscience, right, then you end up with this understanding that a belief is never just a belief. A belief is a series of other beliefs. But where do those beliefs come from? Well, they originate in our emotions, and those are compounded or restored or reinforced by our memories. Okay, that's always, all three of those things are always working together. Okay, so when we're talking about fear, we're not just talking about fear. We're talking about fear with a story. Fear doesn't come out of nowhere. It doesn't just say, oh, pop up, I'm just here. And so what you have to learn is that every single emotion that you will ever have is actually meant to be treated like a friend. And I know that you probably won't get taught this way. And I will give you a tip at the end of this video on how to begin that journey, okay? But let's think about this from the idea of thinking about your emotions spiritually, as in things that manifest, okay? And in one sense, how about this? We just jump into this verse that says, you know what? Love your enemies. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Your brain's going to go to something outside of you. Your brain's going to go to like Syria. Your brain's going to go to the Middle East. Your brain's going to go to whatever it is that in your world is considered an enemy. Okay. Keep in mind, the Bible is not historical. It's psychological. It's mental, right? And so when it says love your enemies, it's quite literally meaning to love your fear, love your anxiety, love your doubts. Now, let me say that because people are going to be like, wait a minute, are you saying I should fall in love with the fact that I'm in doubt all the time? No. What it's saying, though, is that, remember, what else does it say? Because remember, it's a psychological document. Perfect love drives out what? Fear. I'm going to break that down for you and what that means in a second. But if you have an enemy, and we're told to love our enemies, and our enemy is fear, what do you think is going to happen over time? That love is a form of absorption, okay? That love is a form of power. It isn't just love like, oh, I feel butterflies in my stomach. That's rom-coms. That's romantic comedies. That's Hollywood movies, right? That is not what love means, okay? Because love in the Greek sense, which is what is written and used in the New Testament when love is being mentioned, is the end of the ego, right? It is the end. Now, I'm not against the ego, but what it's saying is the end of the ego part of you that is limiting itself, right? And so you're dying to that self. That's what it means when it says to absolve yourself of your ego. Because your ego isn't the enemy either. You should learn to love your ego. But your ego is there to only do one thing, to protect you. That's it. It does not do anything else. It's like somebody who only knows and only has one skill, and that's your ego. okay? But it's not your enemy, all right? You're meant to love the ego so that you actually get it to the point where it's healed. But if you're fearing the ego all the time, or if you're fearing manifestation, or if you're fearing, because some people, I mean, even in the conversations I've had with clients, right, they end up fearing their ability to manifest. And that's not healthy. That's not fun. That's not, right? That's you not feeling safe. And so, I mean, obviously, then there's tip one. What you want to do is you want to manifest safety. You want to manifest, right, the ability to feel safe in your world. Okay, but also safe in here. Because if you start thinking this is your enemy, right, there's going to be a lot of issues. And those issues are the ones that really inspired me to do this channel. Because people are really misunderstanding this. And they're looking at this from, okay, I've got to push away fear. Nope, because what you push away expands, right? And so again, you need to come to a place where you don't see fear as an enemy, but fear as a friend. And I mean that. So people say, well, how do you overcome fear? Well, you see it as a friend, but how can you do that? Well, you can reframe it, which means give it a different name, right? And a part of that is opportunity. So rather than, and I mean, there's actually loads of neuroscientific research. It's really powerful that has actually shown that if you reframe fear and anxiety, it can actually increase the life of your telomeres. Now, what does that mean? Those telomeres are the caps at the end of your cells. Okay, those end up becoming older and deteriorating as you age as well. So let me just say it a different way. If you get really good at reframing your fears and anxieties and depression and so on, right, then you actually can help yourself live longer. Take that in. So back to this. How do you love your fear? Well, you don't love fear as in, I love being afraid. That doesn't make sense. What you can do and what you should do is you end up looking at fear as an opportunity. But an opportunity for what? An opportunity to learn, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to learn about yourself, an opportunity to learn about what you think about others, an opportunity to learn about what you think about the world, what you think about possibility, what you think about an SP, what you think about money. All of these kinds of things are opportunities for growth. Right? So Neville calls this world like a school, right? A mental school, really. And that's a better way of understanding that when he says that, okay? And so we are learning to grow. So the more times that we spend fighting our own growth, we actually fight our ability to manifest, okay? And so we have to get to a point where we don't fear fear, because all we're doing is then we're creating illusions out of illusions. Right? And then we're living in those illusions, and then we play the role. So every single emotion that you have is looking for a body to live it out, right? Every single, like good, bad, and different. It doesn't matter. Boredom, looking for somebody to incarnate it, right? So the Bible talks about incarnation. That's what's happening. Every time you choose an emotion, it's looking for an outlet. You are that outlet. Okay, so again, yes, you can use deep breathing techniques, meditation, and exercise, and all these things that are out there that science has proven actually helps you down regulate fear. But also, I think you have to look at fear as a friend. You have to love it. Yes, loving, because love is a form of absorption. Okay, because love absorbs fear and turns it into love. So the more time that you spend with fear, right? And I'm not saying, when I say that, I'm not saying being in fear. I'm saying when you are in a healthy place, mentally, physically, right, spiritually, whatever it is, that you can begin walking hand in hand with fear. That is the day that you win all the time, no matter what. And so my encouragement to you is to begin looking at your emotions not as something to fear, but as an opportunity to grow. Or maybe they might even be pointing you to a limiting belief. Or maybe they might be pointing you to a limiting memory. Or maybe a limiting emotion. Whatever it is, they are markers. They are arrows. They are helpers. They're not the enemy, okay? Even in scripture, it says, in your anger, do not sin. Okay, and notice what it's saying. Now, whenever the word "n" comes up in scripture, it's saying within, it's saying mentally, right? So in your anger, so even in here, it's okay to get angry. So it's okay to get angry. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to go through moments of depression. It's okay, right? You have to allow that, okay? And then discover what is hiding underneath it, because that's where you find the gold. If all you do is you simply sit there and fight emotions, you're not going to find anything worthy of being discovered, right? And you're just going to keep moving on, experiencing that same emotion, okay? So you have to do the deep work, okay? So I want to encourage you to do that, right? And so again, there's more to be said about this. I'm sure I'm going to do more videos on this, but I want to give you this technique from NLP, right? And it's a very powerful one. And I do this with my clients way more in depth than I'm going to share with you here. So if you're looking for coaching in this area or any other, or you just want to learn how to manifest your goals, get in touch. But what you do, and this is called parts integration, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna imagine that you are sitting in a room, and you can make that room as ornate and fun and exciting as you want. You can put balloons up, whatever it is. And then what I want you to imagine is that you're in the first person and you are leading a group, okay? Now, there's a circle of chairs. You can make the chairs gold. It doesn't matter. Make this yours, okay? Make it fun. And then what you wanna do is you wanna sit people in these chairs. I'm going to tell you who they are in a second, okay? They don't have to have faces, okay? But if that helps you, then give them faces, give them features, right? Color it up, okay? And feel like you are in a state of learning. That's the actual emotion you want to go for, as in the state of learning and growth, okay? Or curiosity. And then what you want to do is on top of that, you then want to imagine that each person sitting in the chair is an emotion. So if you feel hopeless, then ask hopelessness, why are you here? What are you here to teach me, right? Do the same with fear. Do the same with love. Do the same with hate. Do the same with joy. Do the same with purpose. Do the same with meaninglessness. Whatever it is, ask them, why are you here? And let whatever comes, come, and don't control it. Because you might find out, for example, fear might say, I'm here to protect you. That's my job. I actually care for you. Right? And so this actually begins the process of healing your relationship with the emotions that you've been taught and misinterpreted as things to be afraid of, right? And you begin actually healing, and that's why it's called parts of integration, those parts that you might have pushed aside because you've been taught to reject certain emotions over others. So I hope this was helpful. Jump on, check out my other videos, and I hope you're doing safe in the world. So much love, everybody.